seen anything like that. No good. Wide right.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going to the end zone. The Bears have won. The Bears have won. Oh, my God. You believe in miracles? Yes.
It's the Davey Mac Sports Program, where we talk to sports and other stuff, like snow. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of which, who is Frosty's favorite aunt? Anyone? Antarctica. Oh man, that's funnier than the time I accidentally drove my car off the road. Anyway, I'm Roy Harder, and here's your host. Where is he in the corner down there? Mr. Eastside David McDonald, everybody. There he is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roy. First of all, the star of the show, Davey Mac, is always on the top box. It's
That's
just, how you see them when we record is not how they're displayed during the final show. And we've only had to tell you that 9 million times.
Wait, so you mean to tell me that my screenshot is not 3 times larger than anyone else's on the show?
Roy, you got to stop doing acid in the pre-show meetings, buddy.
I'm going to have to get that written into my contract. Anyway.
Also, Roy, the joke that that you prepared for yourself doesn't work as well if you pronounce it aunt. Like you're a black person from the South.
How do you pronounce it, David?
And that also stays in line with Antarctica.
Well, so
because that was the key. Antarctica.
I say Antarctica.
There is no Antarctica. And is it Arctica or Arctica? Now I'm confused. I swear to God, I looked up how to spell Antarctica, and I'm pretty sure there was a C. But now Roy has me doubting myself, and maybe it is Antarctica, and there is no C.
I think it's Antarctica, just like one would say Greenland.
Okay. Now listen.
The Germans coming through.
We have a very busy Davey Mac Sports Program on a January 19th, 2026. Myself in tow. I'm Eastside Dave McDonald, Roy Harder, the musical director, and Bobby Tamburo, the producer of the program. And we have breaking news as one of the worst calls in NFL history has changed so much legacy, has destroyed so many people's lives. And now the breaking news is that the Buffalo Bills have fired their head coach, Sean McDermott, after what was the single most brutal loss I think I've ever witnessed. To me, I would put it up there with the Red Sox blowing the game to the Mets in Game 6 of the World Series. It's in football, Scott Norwood wide right, although that was a great football game, back and forth, and then just the dumb field goal kicker misses it at the end. That's a choking moment, but this was just a string of horribleness for the Buffalo Bills. I'm a Giants fan. For the record, I am a New York football Giants fan. I don't care about the Buffalo Bills. My team beat the Buffalo. We started the Buffalo Bills on their choke job trajectory years ago, 36 years ago at this point, 35 years ago, when the Giants beat the Buffalo Bills by 1 point, when Scott Norwood missed that field goal wide right in the Super Bowl. And that got the Giants their second Super Bowl. And the Bills thought, okay, we'll be back. And they were back the next year, and they lost. And then they were back the year after that, and they lost. And they were back the year after that, and they lost. 4 straight Super Bowls, as we all know. Go watch the 30 for 30 about it. It's a great 30 for 30, just a laugh and point that how much of a choke job, honestly, at this point, this entire city is. And Buffalo, I actually have some friends in Buffalo. That's why I have a soft spot in my heart for Buffalo. When I was at Fordham for 2.5 semesters before I was summarily dismissed, I had a bunch of buddies from Buffalo. They're great people, salt of the earth, lots of fun to hang out with. Really enjoyed their company. So, yeah, I've always kind of liked the Bills as sort of like an AFC team that I can get behind. There were passing interference calls that were complete garbage. I guess the last one might have been a passing interference, but the one on the sideline wasn't even close to being passing interference. And even at this point, the shady and suspicious Gene Steratore, who I had a lot of issues with in this entire weekend, and he used to be one of the good ones. They now, all of these broadcast booths, take some former referee, pluck him into the booth, and anytime there's a controversial call, hey, Gene, weigh in on this. What do you think, Gene? Let me tell you something. That throw by Josh Allen in overtime was a catch. Sorry. The only reason that you can possibly think it was an interception is if you're a Broncos fan or you hate Josh Allen or you're Ryan Clark. Okay? That the guy has the ball. He goes to the ground. We've now seen freeze frames of him with the ball, with control, with one knee on the ground. That's it, folks. With the one knee on the ground, done. But even to continue the play, the wide receiver of the Buffalo Bills then goes to the ground on his back. And when he hits his back and is rolling over, that is when the Denver Broncos guy gets possession of the football. On no planet is that somehow an interception. It's actually even in the NFL rule book because of that crazy ass Packers Seahawks jump ball on Monday Night Football where you had the one dumb college referee going touchdown and then the other dumb college referee going incomplete. Yeah. Because if you remember, they had the actual NFL refs were on strike and they had the stupid scabs, trying to referee NFL games, and we mocked them for it. In fact, that was the end of the referees being, on strike. The NFL capitulated instantly and was like, you know what? We can't have these. And you would think Division I college refs, they're going to get watch as much Division I college football as I do. The referees are atrocious. And they tried to put those refs in the NFL, and they failed miserably because of that jump ball. Here, because of that play, it became established. They wrote it down that if two guys have it and they both have possession, tie goes to the offense. Just like in baseball, tie goes to the runner. In football, two guys come down with it and they both seem like they have their hands on the ball. It goes to the offense. And somehow they make this decision. They make this ruling that it was an interception. It's beyond insane. That entire referee crew, I'm not kidding about this. I'm not getting all suspicious and Alex Jonesing on your ass. They need to be investigated. I want to know if any one of them has another phone, a secret account to FanDuel or DraftKings. I want to know what was going on with those referees. With the first pass interference in overtime that set up the second pass interference, I'll give you the second pass interference, but at that point, the game was over. Yeah. Between the first pass interference and the interception ruling, those are two of the worst calls I've ever seen, and they literally changed NFL history. Yeah. This was a time for Josh Allen to go to the Super Bowl because he'd be taking on a Denver Broncos team without Bo Nix, and we'll get to that later.
No.
But he would be taking on they played Bo Nix, but he'd be taking on a Patriots team that, quite frankly, as poorly as CJ Stroud and the Texans played, the Patriots beat him by 12 points when any normal team beats him by 30. Huh. So Josh Allen had his best chance to go to the Super Bowl this year, without question. besides the fact that he is now in serious danger of becoming a modern-day Dan Marino, they then go and fire their head coach, Sean McDermott, after 9 years. And listen, I think McDermott's a bit overrated defensively because his defenses do seem to choke quite a bit in the clutch moment. I mean, they had a lead with 13, 15 seconds against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs a few years ago, and they couldn't hold them. They couldn't figure out how the Chiefs could not kick a field goal. They let 2 passes by Mahomes, a timeout, and then a 58-yard field goal, and the Chiefs beat him in overtime. That's on McDermott. But at the same time, this game wasn't. This game was not on Sean McDermott. This game, despite what Ryan Clark tried telling you before the game began, this game wasn't on Josh Allen. Did he play great? No. That turnover, that fumble at the end of the first half, horrible play. And it led to a field goal. And then when you go in overtime, you go, man, he didn't fumble. And the Broncos get some lucky field goal at the end of the half. Maybe that's, they avoid the tie. They win the game outright. But that's not what happened. He did fumble. So if you're going to give Josh Allen a grade, it would be a C. My point would be, despite Josh Allen playing below standards for him, the true test of a champion is some days you just don't have it. You know how many times I watched Michael Jordan, through 3 quarters go 10 for 30, and it was just a night where he didn't have it. Yeah, but then when the game was on the line, he made the shots to get the Bulls the win. He stood up in the fourth quarter and delivered in the clutch so that ultimately the Bulls would win a game, in a game where he brought his C-, D+ game. The same thing. Josh Allen, sure, he brought his C or C- game, but the fourth quarter, he brought it. And overtime, he brought it. He makes a throw that is perfect. And it just gets taken out of the guy's hands when the guy's clearly down. And that's not injustice. I got news for the NFL. You have an officiating problem. Okay? Yes, you do.
I think
Number one, they need to change the rule on passing interference to college. College is automatic first down and 15 yards. Forget this spotting the ball where it was nonsense now. You know why? Just like every other sport, you're seeing guys flop. And it's disgusting and pathetic, and it ruins sports. Look at the NBA's ratings, NFL. Flopping is one of the reasons, not the only reason, but flopping is absolutely a contributor to people just being nauseous at NBA basketball these days. Yeah. And now you're getting wide receivers realizing, oh, yeah, we can do the exact same thing that LeBron and SGA do. We'll just hit the deck and go all crazy and stuff and pretend that you got interfered with.
Absolutely.
Soccer.
It's not happening. Robert, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think the NFL knows they have an officiating problem. One thing that drove me nuts this weekend, I don't know if either of you guys picked up on it, was every time there was a bad call in all 4 games, for the first time ever, everybody in the booth agreed with the bad call.
100%.
Nobody was willing to be like, I think this is a mistake. It clearly, a memo went around and was like, hey, you guys don't criticize the officials. We know. And the best example for me was the Rams, where the exact same play where they called it an interception in the Bills game happened in the Rams game, and they called it a catch. And the commentator was like, well, let's just move on. I'm sure people from Buffalo will have stuff to say, like, didn't even address it, or like they were not allowed. It was.
I agree completely. I brought that point up to my son, Stanley Mack. We watched all of the games this weekend, and I brought up how suspicious that was, that literally the same play happened in that Rams-Bears game, and it was ruled a catch. And it was the same play. And it's because it was a catch.
Yeah.
You have, how do the referees blow that call? How? And how does the NFL not immediately go, we apologize, Bills and Bills fans. And Josh Allen, if you end up not winning a Super Bowl, we're sorry. And Sean McDermott, you are now jobless. You are now unemployed. Apologies, buddy. Like, they are screwing up life for a pretty big amount of people. I'm sure Sean McDermott's not going to be the only one who's going to get kicked out of the Buffalo now, between other coaches and players. Absolutely. You're going to see a lot of people now getting kicked out of Buffalo, who, if they just made the right call, the Bills kick that field goal and they win the game into overtime, and it's Bills Patriots in the AFC Championship. Unbelievable.
It's crazy they fired him too. Like, yes, he's had some problems. His defense chokes. Just go, hey, we're going to keep you around. The only rule is when you're up and the other team's trying to tie the game, you're not allowed to call quarters, cover 4, prevent. And then they win the game. They do this every time. They give so much room up, and they just allow 3 short passes and a field goal. Like, as an offensive coordinator, I would just all week be preparing for that. Like, you're going to have the flats open. And it happens.
Sean McDermott, too. The other thing about Sean McDermott that he can't quite live down. I'm not saying he should have gotten fired. He immediately apologized for this, but it was still one of the worst. You know, coaches are always trying to find that analogy. They're always trying to grab from either pop culture or real world history. Yeah. And Sean McDermott one time just said how if you remember this, we need to be as coordinated as, hey, listen, say what you will about the hijackers from 9/11.
That's fantastic.
But they were really, really coordinated. I mean, if you look at what the hijackers on 9/11 had to do, it was really planning. Because listen, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. And the guy's like, huh? Like they're like, I think he did coach speak, but did he just bring up September 11th? The terror attacks.
Yeah, well, better than bringing up like a blitzkrieg or the Wehrmacht. You know,
I would say all of those are bad analogies. And simply, let's steer clear. Yes, let's not go, guys. We need a fast attack that's going to invade their defense before they even know it, like blitzkrieg style, like the whole Hitler. Let's get after it. I think all of these analogies are bad. Do what my coaches did. You play the last 2 minutes of Rocky, for Christ's sakes.
And you know what, boys? You know what, boys? They say jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Well, I say today, our jet fuel melts their steel beams.
Boom! Boom! That's what we got to be doing. We got to be detonating the other team's offense. And if we can, make them all paranoid and make them think it's an inside job, and they'll be pointing fingers at one another. Huh? No, I think he is just talking about 9/11. No, I'm not. Allah Akbar.
And who do we have down here that nobody's covering? It's our dancing wide receiver. What's he doing over there?
I feel really bad for the Bills. I feel bad for my Buffalonian friends. I'm sorry, gang. And also, Denver's won 3 Super Bowls, the 2 with Elway, the 1 with Manning. Great AFC team, great AFC franchise. That's not going to change. The Bills needed this. That's a great AFC franchise too. That's an old school AFL team. That is a great AFC franchise, and my God, it's now going into torture. If I was a Bills fan, I mean, it's like the end of the season is like being in Guantanamo Bay over here already. They just, with just the footage of these games is enough to go, I'll give you any answer you want. I'll tell you anything you want. Get me out of this room. Like a Clockwork Orange scenario where you strap them to the table and you put eye drops in their things and they're looking. Please get me out of here, me lovely. I apologize, you wollywogs. I didn't mean no harm. I just wanted a steaky wake and eggy wags. I don't know. Boys.
At what point do you just become known for that, though? Like, are the Bills the choking franchise?
Oh, no. They are the choking franchise probably right now of sports.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was growing up, I was born around the time they had their first run of choke jobs, and I got a box of the Flutie Flakes they made, and my dad wouldn't let me eat them because they were a choking hazard.
Very good.
Nice one, Bobby.
The team that used to be the choke job kings, don't forget, was the Boston Red Sox. But that went away 22 years ago. When they won the World Series in 2004, they finally got it done. And then what happened? They won 2 or 3 World Series after that. So the Red Sox used to be the king of all chokers. And now that they've won championships, multiple championships in this century, it goes to the Buffalo Bills because holy cow, since the Giants Super Bowl, you are looking at 35 years of choke jobs and bizarre playoff controversies. And I mean, the Music City Miracle, Robert, when you were in Memphis, Robert was living in Memphis when the Music City Miracle happened. Who did it happen against? The goddamn Buffalo Bills.
Yep. But you forget, Dave, they did have that cool drop kick that Doug Flutie did. So
yeah,
everything's worth it.
I feel bad for him. And then Josh Allen's out there on the podium crying, all upset. I'm like, listen, I get it. I'd be upset too if my A-list wife was an actress who was making out with a whole bunch of dudes in that movie Sinners. That is what happened. Bo Nix, though, out for the end of the year on the second to last play of that game, where the Broncos did defeat, obviously, the Bills 33-30. So Bo Nix is gone, and Sean Payton's going to have to get a back, or win the AFC Championship and Super Bowl with his backup. Has been done. Mm-hmm. Nick Foles, most recently with the Philadelphia Eagles, and me as a Giants fan know Jeff Hostetler was Phil Simms' backup and won the Super Bowl, the second Super Bowl under Parcells. Now, with Hostetler, they had a little time. I think Phil Simms was, he was 11-1 or something and was ready to lead the team to a Super Bowl when he got hurt. But that gave Hostetler a few games in the regular season to get ready. And then the postseason, he went on a run. And as far as backups go, he was a good backup and had mobility that Phil Simms didn't have. So he was pretty good. Nick Foles, same thing. If Sean Payton can get on this run, then holy mackerel, that would be Sean Payton's second Super Bowl. And to do it with a backup quarterback would put Sean Payton in instant Hall of Fame category, despite being probably the least liked head coach in the game. Did you see? We don't need to do the press conference, but there was a reporter who asked him, how are you going to get your running game to run downhill? And this was Sean Payton's response. Run downhill? What do you know about running downhill? You're a writer. Here's you. Duh. And you're going to tell me about running downhill? I'm a football coach. You're a dumb reporter. What are you talking about running downhill? What do you think? This is The Sound of Music? Where, we got some fairies running downhill? Singing, extracalifragilisticexpialidocious, that kind of thing? Is that what it's running? That ain't running downhill. Seriously, though, before I move on to my next question, how stupid are you to think that you know what running downhill is? The answer? Very stupid. Extremely stupid. That's how stupid you are. And I do want to go on to the next question here, but real quick, back to the running downhill guy. Running downhill. That's what you do when you push Jonah Hill down a mountain, right? You go running downhill, right? That's how dumb you are. Next question. And real quick. Can you please get out of here? Thanks. Just leave. Yeah. That was pretty much the interaction that Sean Payton had with a reporter recently. And this is the same guy who did Bountygate. You'd think he would want to be nice and like watch the PR. Nope, doesn't care. Just like, yeah, I'm a total heel at this stage in my life. I don't care. I kind of respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
do.
like it, to be honest with you. I lean into it, right? You're the bad guy. Be the bad guy.
He truly doesn't care what you think about him and has 100% embraced being the villain. So it's like, good. Well, if I'm the villain, I can just talk to reporters like pieces of garbage. By the way, that's what Belichick did. Like, let's not pretend that Bill Belichick was nice to the reporters with the on to Pittsburgh or whatever the hell, on to Indianapolis, whatever it was. He did the same thing.
I would have loved to have been a reporter and been like, who injured Bo Nix, real quick, because the other team asked me to ask. Whoever did it gets $1,000.
Oh, ouch.
That said,
yeah.
Last time I checked, the ankle is a pretty long way from the heart. You're 2 games from the Super Bowl, your lifelong dream. Take some Oxycontin, tape it up, and win the goddamn game. I played my whole junior year on a broken ankle on the line. There's a lot more pivots on there, and I know it's not the NFL. They didn't give me the painkillers you can get in the NFL. This man can play football. Suit up.
Hey, I agree. Let's not forget, Phillip Rivers in the AFC Championship years ago against the Patriots played on a torn ACL.
Ouch.
Okay, a season-ending ACL, except Phillip Rivers said, well, my season's not ending. I have an AFC Championship game to play. And didn't do a bad job. I mean, it wasn't like a blowout. I forget what the final score is, but the game was close for a while until the Patriots pulled away at the end. But the guy, played on a torn ACL and got out there. You'd think that there would be some sort of brace, some sort of, Iron Man technology that you can just brace that ankle, put him in a boot, for crying out loud. Put him in one of those boots that gives him a little bit of mobility.
Yeah, give him some stem cells. That's the big one now, Dave. Stem cells. Fix everything.
One of my favorite stories like that, the face-off guy in the national championship for Notre Dame tore his hamstring in the round before. So they made him one out of one of those rubber bands that they use in the gym. So like it would contract on its own, and taped it and like design, and he played the entire game like that.
Phenomenal.
And now what? 2 dumb college kids. Wow. Like you have the best doctors in the world. Figure out a way to get this guy in the game.
My favorite face-off story was when John Travolta and Nick Cage switched faces.
You're saying he took his face off.
Don't forget Ronnie Lott. Now, again, you got to go back to the 80s with this type of stuff. Broke his pinky.
Yes.
He told the people at halftime, chop it off, chop the top half off. Wasn't joking. So they did. They did. The guy to this day is walking around with half a pinky because rather than miss the game, he's just like, well, take it off. I don't need it.
Yeah, he lost the top of his pinky. You know what he got? A story for fucking life. Yeah. That guy's the coolest man in any room. What'd you
Forever.
do? It's like, cut my pinky off so I can play in the football.
Just take it off. Just take it off. Oh, take off what? Your pinky? I'm not saying Bo Nix says, chop the ankle off, because unfortunately, I believe that would result in the foot as well.
Hey, give me that Oscar Pistorius. He moved pretty well.
That's true. If he got like a Blade Runner foot, then that could do something.
Not great at lateral movement, but forward and back, he's good.
Now, the other AFC championship, and we'll get to the NFC in a bit, but the other AFC championship was the Houston Texans getting embarrassed, in my opinion, by the New England Patriots 28-16, because in the first half, the Patriots didn't even look that good offensively, but CJ Stroud looked atrocious. 4 interceptions in the first half alone.
Wow.
4 picks. And beyond the interceptions, none of his passes were accurate. Every single throw was behind the guy, was too low, or was too high. Every single one. Even on completions, guys, rather than getting the ball while they're running, getting it in stride or having to hit the ground, and then they're just being touched. I mean, every single throw was terrible.
He looks so
CJ
bad.
Stroud had one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time and is getting exponentially worse. My son actually brought up Anthony Volpe, the Yankees shortstop, who went out and won Rookie of the Year, won the Gold Glove, or if he didn't win Rookie of the Year, had a great rookie season, but also won a Gold Glove during his rookie season. And then year 2 got worse, and then year 3 got even worse until year 4 with the New York Yankees and Anthony Volpe, for me, make or break year. If he sucks in year 4, bye-bye. I want him out. I have to think the same thing goes on with CJ Stroud. Yeah, he's going to come back to the Houston Texans for year 4. But if he goes down again, that's it. You got to get a new quarterback. Yeah. Like, you must move on if he regresses even more in year 4. Year 4 is this. You tell him before the season begins, brother, we need you at the very least to be as good as you were year 1. Don't know what you were doing. Don't know what you were eating. Don't know what your mind frame was. Don't know how you worked out. But get back on that program. These last 2 years, you've been terrible. 4 interceptions. He looks scared. I mean, he looked terrified out there. And you know what's also I'm sick and tired of? These warm weather teams that fold like a cheap suit anytime they play in weather. Hey, dummies. All you guys who play in a dome, you are aware that the NFL playoffs year in and year out is in January, and that there's a lot of teams in the NFL in the Northeast and in the Midwest who get tons of bad weather, frozen rain, snow, sleet, etc. You must figure a way to practice that. I don't care if you light a fake fire in your practice facility so that the sprinklers go off. No, seriously, Roy.
Teams do that.
You put the temperature down to 40 degrees.
I can understand.
That's what you do, but you got to do something. These dome teams and warm. Remember McDaniel's Dolphins? That every year they would get into the playoffs and then they just get crushed in cold weather. And even in regular season games in cold weather, they suck. I mean, what's going on? I feel like CJ Stroud wanted no part of that game. That's the most alarming thing. To think that he looked scared when in his rookie season he looked confident, and now in season 3 he looks terrified to be out there. He didn't want anything. He was throwing the ball up like he was a little kid.
He kept looking at his hand. People were speculating it was injured. I think he just couldn't feel it. Like, I think he, like you said, was just not used to playing in this cold, which is unacceptable. You got to be able to figure out a way around that.
You got to figure a way to prepare these guys for it. Almost every team has a practice facility that's indoors because they want to be able to practice every day. Turn the temperature down.
I thought that's why all these guys were taking ice baths. I see them all the time in their ice baths, but apparently it's not working.
The one guy who looked ready to play in the cold for Houston was who? Nick Chubb, who spent his entire career in Cleveland, where he's used to this shitty, snowy weather. Yeah. And he was running people down. The craziest stat for me, though, Dave, was they had 5 turnovers and scored 7 points. Like, the defense did their job. They held and gave Stroud every chance, and he just couldn't do it.
No, I mean, it's amazing. If you had Josh Allen on that Houston Texans team, they would have won every game this year 35-3.
Well, based on how bad Stroud played, the Bills may take that trade. It looks like he belonged in Buffalo.
Jesus, that was so embarrassing. And speaking of embarrassments, our good friend on ESPN, Ryan Clark, has done it again.
Oh, boy.
So CJ Stroud goes out there, absolutely craps the bed, loses the game to the Patriots 28-16. But as we just mentioned, 4 interceptions in the first half. Well, at halftime, the game was on ESPN and ABC. So at halftime, they go to the halftime show. You have Swagoo, who rightfully says, you know what? I know CJ Stroud is the man here, but you got to bring in Davis Mills. It at least needs to be a conversation to bring in the backup quarterback, Davis Mills. And he was dead on. And here's all you had to do. All you had to do. Robert mentioned CJ Stroud's hand. You lie. You just say CJ Stroud's right hand is injured. He can't go out in the second half. They're going to monitor it. If the Texans win the game, hopefully he can play next week. But no guarantee on that either. Because if Davis Mills goes out there in the second half and lights it up, I'm sticking with Davis Mills. And I know they don't want to cripple this kid's confidence. But you know what? You are absolutely betraying the other 52 guys on that football team. Right. I know the quarterback is the most important position, and he is. But it's not just one player. You got 53 guys on these NFL rosters busting their asses. You can't let one guy who's clearly scared to just derail all of your playoff chances when, quite frankly, you might have a defense that gets you a Super Bowl, a la Baltimore Ravens with Trent Dilfer as quarterback, or Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Brad Johnson as quarterback, or Chicago Bears with Jim McMahon. And McMahon was okay, and he could throw the long ball. And Brad Johnson had, I think, a year where or two where he would make a Pro Bowl. But these guys aren't legends of the game. No one who I just mentioned is Hall of Famer. As far as Trent Dilfer goes, he was arguably a sub-mediocre quarterback. But basically all they told him is, hey, stupid, don't turn the ball over. We have the best defense imaginable. Pick up a few first downs. Don't turn the ball over. We will win the field of possession. We'll start pinning them back if you get a few first downs, and then lo and behold, we'll be able to start kicking some field goals or even get a touchdown here and there. And that's all Dilfer did. Okay, not going to turn the ball over. That's my only responsibility. That was all they told him. They don't need Trent Dilfer going out there throwing 300 yards. They need Trent Dilfer going out there throwing 200 yards. He had plenty of games where he threw in the 100-yard category. It's crazy that no one on the Houston Texans was. Why was CJ Stroud throwing so much? I believe he threw like 26 times at halftime. He ended the game. Where is it? 4 interceptions, 20 for 47.
Oh, man.
Now, I know that the running game wasn't getting going. Folks, Texans, do you ever think of a screen pass? Do you ever think of some easy, quick little 5-yard slants? Just get the guy some completion so he doesn't turn the ball over. He was dropping back and going for 20, 25, 30-yard passes every single time he was throwing the ball, even though he was wildly inaccurate the entire game. At a certain point, someone needs to smarten up offensively on the coaching staff. Someone needs to say, okay, he's really bad today. 20 for 47.
It's embarrassing.
I'm going to figure it out right now. Robert, what do you think about 20 for 47?
I think it's ridiculous. One of the commentators said it best. He said, you can't force throws in games like this. You're not going to make a tight throw that wins you this game. You are going to force a pass that turns into an interception that will lose you this game. And I think that's what the greats know. Like in a game like this, all you had to do was just make sure you weren't a turnover machine. And he literally did it. Same with Allen. 4 turnovers is nuts. We could throw the 1 out, 3, but all season, that's more than he had all season.
No,
crazy.
To me, the one fumble wasn't on him because it really was just one of those weird blindside hits where he's going back and the ball came out. The fumble at the end of the half was bad because that led to a field goal, and then the game went into overtime. So if the Broncos don't get that gimme field goal, do the Bills win in regulation? I would say there's a great chance at that. But Stroud was embarrassing. Like I said, the difference between Josh Allen and CJ Stroud is Allen was making up for it in the fourth quarter and overtime by making some good plays and making some good throws. CJ Stroud just never got on the same page. And by the way, 20 for 47 is 42 98% completion percentage in an era where you want to be 68 to 70% to be a really good QB. Being okay, all right, 65, 64, 65%. That's being, pretty good completion percent. 42. I will remind you, Tim Tebow got booted out of the league because his completion percentage at one point was around 57, 56%. Yeah. And everyone mocked him. And this guy throws 42% for the game. He won. I don't know how you can be a Houston Texan and be like, we have our quarterback. So, I couldn't go into next season feeling good about being a Houston Texan a player, because you know that you have a complete nervous choke artist as your QB.
You're saying you'd have to be one of the biggest morons and show you really know absolutely nothing about sports if you were to go on TV and defend CJ Stroud.
So that brings us to Mr. Ryan Clark, who we were just discussing. Ryan Clark during halftime, when Swagoo just happened to mention something quite logical. You know what? Maybe they should think of putting Davis Mills in the game. Here was Ryan Clark's response to Swagoo's crazy suggestion that a different quarterback play, because clearly CJ Stroud was crapping all over the bed.
Take him in a room and say, CJ, where are you right now? Be honest with me. Because if not, Davis Mills will have to be the guy.
You are not having that conversation with CJ Stroud. The second half has legit ramifications on whether or not CJ Stroud is the quarterback for the Houston Texans going forward. 3 years in a row, CJ Stroud's gotten you to this game. This is the year you feel like you have the players around him to win it. There's no Nico Collins. There's no Dalton Schultz. There's no run game. They put everything on this young man's shoulders. Give him 30 minutes to show you that he's the guy you drafted second overall. He's the guy that's brought you here, and that he's the dude that can take you in the future. He's playing for it all right now, whether if it's his mind, if it's physical, if it's decisions, if it's bad throws. You got to let him go out and show you this is who he is.
Okay, let me bring something up. Did we not do last week? Did we not talk about Ryan Clark insanely saying about Josh Allen? I don't care how well he plays. If he doesn't win, it's all on him. I don't care if he has no run game. I don't care if his defense chokes, as they always do in the playoffs under Sean McDermott. I don't care what happens. If Josh Allen doesn't win, it's all on him. Flash forward to CJ Stroud, and now we're making excuses. Oh, well, he doesn't have Nico Collins. He doesn't have this wide receiver, that wide receiver, the other guy. Also, no, Ryan Clark, it wasn't CJ Stroud that got him into the playoffs. It's the defense. Way to understand the game.
Which he played
defense for the Steelers, and shamefully for my New York Football Giants. I don't remember him even on the Giants because he was that much of an insignificant factor. He was okay, I think, with the Steelers. Only lately, all Twitter has is videos of Ryan Clark getting burned by Peyton Manning, and Manning hitting shot after shot on Ryan Clark, who just gives up big play after big play as if he is a member of the Buffalo Bills secondary.
It's crazy. So, he does the same thing in the ratings to him too. The Manning cast versus Ryan Clark's coverage, just burning him and burning him.
Oh yeah, but it's crazy that Swagoo comes out here, nice and logical, talk to CJ Stroud. Just talk to him. See where his mind's at. Fine. I agree with that. See what he's doing. Like, see if he can look you in the eye. See, because I'm sure that guy looked straight up nervous yesterday. And again, the head coach can be like, CJ, look, I got to make a move. I don't know what's going on today, but you really don't have it. And this is the playoffs. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say you suffered a right hand injury. Period. Don't worry. We're going to save face for you. We're going to get your back. We're going to make sure that everyone, no one's judging you by saying you're hurt. But we got to make a change because You look terrible. I think this is a very reasonable conclusion that Swagoo came to. I think Ryan Clark continues to be the single stupidest dummy on TV. I got to tell you, at this point, does he have brains or is that applesauce in his head?
I do like his jacket, though. He's got a cool jacket, that red jacket.
Oh, they all dress so fun. The problem with these guys is now, they all dress like fashion models, and they're about as smart as these dumbass fashion models do.
Did not think you were saying fashion models both of those times.
Fashion models. It's ESPN, like so many other things. Style over substance, man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Style over substance. It is all superficial BS. No one who is genuinely substantive can be on ESPN. Substantive.
Okay. I'll look it up later, David.
Look it up later. It's an SAT word. No one who actually thinks about the bigger picture. No one with the little nuance. The problem with getting all ex-jocks to dominate your in-the-toilet sports network is a lot of ex-jocks are dumb. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I played sports in high school, folks. 389 in baseball. Fine. It was junior varsity on a technical level. But that's only because my junior and senior year, I decided to eschew baseball. I had a Dead Poets Society moment, and I decided to run the Arister, the poetry and prose magazine, the next 2 years.
Is that true,
Okay.
David?
That is
true.
I
never knew that about you.
That is true.
Just learned something new.
And it was the same thing with basketball. After a certain point, we had two coaches, the JV coach and the varsity coach, that both thought they were Bobby Knight. And both of these guys were complete hacks, complete choke artists in the games. We had so much talent at CBA. We've had NBA guys. We've had John Crotty, who went to the NBA. We have Brian Lynch, who's married to Kim Cloisters, who went to Villanova. We had Mark Dowdell, who went to Villanova. Joe Paterno, not the approving child molesting, weirdo Penn State Nittany Lion coach.
All right, Rutgers fan. We know where you're coming from.
Joe Paterno, the New Jersey basketball god who played at CBA. There are Jeff Billett, who got Rutgers to, speaking of Rutgers, Robert, got Rutgers to the semifinals Big East tournament by hitting a game-winning shot in the quarterfinals, and now I believe is coaching somewhere. I mean, but these guys, all they did was choke in state tournaments. So I can recognize choke artists when I see them. And there's a lot of choke artists going around. But for Ryan Clark to keep going out there week in and week out, why was it that Josh Allen, if the Bills lose, it's 100% Josh Allen's fault? But CJ Stroud, who legitimately, completely lost the game for the Texans, he doesn't come down on him at halftime. He says, no, he needs to play. Why does he need to play? He's not going to get better in the second half. There's no magical pill that guy is going to take to all of a sudden become less scared. If anything, he's going to become more scared. He was scared going into the game, and then he throws 4 interceptions in the first half. If anything, he's going to be more unconfident and frightened to put the ball in the air. And you saw it in the second half where, he might not have had the picks, but he's just throwing the ball like a shot put because now he's aiming instead of the classic. You got to grip it and rip it. If you're not just going to grip the ball and rip it with some force and believe in yourself and believe in the throw, it's over. The NFL is too good. If you're just going to try and place the ball in there because you're scared, it's over. And that's what happened in the second half. No more picks, but a zillion throws that were behind guys and low because he's just, please, I got to please put this ball. No more. Please don't get intercepted. Please don't get. And he's just throwing the ball like a dart. And he's not.
Maybe he should take your lead, David, and start writing some more poetry.
Listen, my poetry has been discussed and read on such programs as the Ron and Fez show, and was even then discussed on Tales from the Satellite, where we revisited that legendary prose and poetry. So if you want to find it on Tales from the Satellite, be my guest. The name of the episode is Dave Poet Society, because it was like a Dead Poet Society deal.
It's a great episode. I think Ryan Clark took that stance specifically because the other guy said they should bench Stroud. I think in addition to stupid, the other issue you face when you have ex-athletes commentate is egos. They used to be the star. They have a hard time giving other people the praise or the credit. So it's just like he takes the opposite stance so aggressively to try to have his moment. Like it would be like, here, make a comment. I'll be Ryan Clark.
Okay. You know who I think needs to play better next year is the secondary of the Buffalo Bills.
Dave, I got to tell you, that's the stupidest point I ever heard. If I had 4 guys to cover me anywhere in the world, I would take the Buffalo Bills secondary. You clearly didn't play football.
Yeah, I know.
Just that level of aggressiveness for whatever.
Oh yeah, that's. Don't forget, this Ryan Clark is the same guy who Peter Schrager came over. It was a big deal for ESPN that they got one of those Good Morning Football guys from the NFL Network. He was an NFL Network lifer, and he goes over to First Take on day one, Ryan Clark does the condescending. You never played the game, dude. You should. So Peter Schrager should have been like, well, I guess I don't need to be here. See you later, guys. It was such a condescending and belittling comment. I mean, Schrager did defend himself, but he did so with a weak, corny, Caucasian smile of like, don't belittle me like that, Ryan Clark. You know what? I would love to be on First Take across from Ryan Clark.
Yeah,
first of all, what would happen is Robert, do you remember? Because I don't know. I mean, I know Roy doesn't, and you might not remember this either. There was a quarterback. Oh, it's making me laugh already. There was a quarterback named Jim Everett. Yep. He was the quarterback of the Rams back in the day. And he appears on Jim Rome's show. I know a lot of Jims involved in the story. But Jim Rome, the famous Los Angeles-based sports talk host, radio and TV. He's been doing radio and television for quite some time. Worked for ESPN, also works for, nowadays, I believe, works for Fox. But Jim Rome, because Jim Everett had a bad stretch, Jim Rome kept calling him Chris.
Oh, I remember this, David.
Roy, you know who Chris Everett is?
Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I'm very familiar with this clip as well. So.
Female tennis player.
Yeah.
In case some of the people don't know your 70s and 80s female tennis, I should just give them the reference straight up. Chris Everett, of course, legendarily known for her rivalries with Martina Navratilova, and she was an American tennis star, won all kind of Grand Slam, tournaments and whatnot, and I believe still is a commentator to this day. She's very popular. Actually married to Jimmy Connors at one point, but then they broke up. Anyway, the whole point was basically Jim Rome is calling Jim Everett a girl by calling him Chris Everett. And so Jim Everett goes on Jim Rome. You have the clip here? All right, let's play this clip.
Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, hey, you know what? Let me say one thing. In that game, how many sacks did I have that we came back and won?
How many sacks did you have?
How many sacks?
Well, see, but this was back in 1989.
Okay, that was about
you may have even been Jim Everett back there, but somewhere along the way, Jim, you ceased being Jim and you became Chris.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. That, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
If you call it one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment, or 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of you before.
Well, it's good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you, too.
Because you've been talking like this behind my back for a long time.
But now I said it right here.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got no problem with that.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
He pulled a Stevie Lou.
He did. That would be every single day. That would be every day between me and Ryan Clark. If I was on First Take, and by the way, I don't want to be. This is not me actually asking to be on that show that's quickly going down the tubes because of people like Ryan Clark, where I don't know if the object is to do bad take after bad take to get people simply talking on Twitter. But that's such a, God, I hate that. It's such an obvious dopey thing that some of these sports hosts do. And it's really annoying. It is. I'm going to be the bad take guy. So I don't know if that's Ryan Clark's, if that's what's going through his head is I'm going to get engagement on Twitter for bad take after bad take. At a certain point, your bad take after bad take actually does affect the overall brand. He's not only bringing down NFL Live and the Monday Night Football that he does, and he does Get Up, and he does First Take. Again, totally overexposed, just like Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky. Three of the most overexposed people on the planet. But Ryan Clark's everywhere. Eventually, this is an indictment on ESPN, and it's why no one can take ESPN seriously. Because if you have someone who does half a dozen really stupid takes every week, it's like, what's the point of tuning into ESPN? I want people with sincere sports talk. Like Swagoo is just fine because he was the only one who brought something real to the table in at that halftime thing. And then Ryan Clark uses the moment to sermonize and be crazy and, quite frankly, be very, very dumb, which he always is.
Yeah, I don't. If he's acting, he should be an Oscar award-winning actor. Like that level of passion he brings to the table with these dumb arguments. I don't think you can fake. Like,
and
I don't
by the
think
way,
you could be I'm going to take a bad take on purpose, and like he leans into it so passionately.
Let's get to the real quick NFC games because the Seahawks crushed the 49ers 41-6 with Sam Darnold, who is suffering, he's playing through an oblique injury. You know what that is, Roy?
Oblique injury, I must say, it has something to do with your back.
Ribs.
I'm not too ribs. Okay, I was close. It's connected.
Which, by the way, as a quarterback, that seems like one of the worst damn injuries that you can have because every time you throw, that's stretching your ribs. And then every time one of these 300-pound defensive linemen hits you in the ribs, it's got to be beyond painful, excruciating. Guess what Ryan Clark said about Sam Darnold before the Seahawks beat the Niners 41-6, an absolute demolition by Seattle over San Francisco. This is what Ryan Clark said when it was discussed. Oh yeah, Sam Darnold is dealing with an oblique injury for the game. They're giving the backup some reps, some practice time. But we do believe, Sam Darnold is going to go out there. He's going to try to go out there and play, which he did, and he played well. And the Seahawks annihilated the Niners. Here's what Ryan Clark said, quote, "It sounds like the setup for an excuse. It sounds like the things that you say before a game when you don't play well, when the throws aren't where they're supposed to be. Everybody can point back, but you have to remember, he didn't get those first team reps and his oblique was tight on Thursday." Closed quote. So now Ryan Clark is going into the Alex Jones territory where he's just inventing different strange scenarios that are going on. He's paranoid and he's setting up. There's all these Machiavellian plans being done by football organizations. Or is it possible the guy had an oblique injury? And that's all. That's all there is to it. And he's nursing an oblique injury. And in the NFL, you are supposed to disclose injuries.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because gambling. The NFL is extremely strict about teams and rosters giving the full-on injury report, no matter who it is or what they're going through, because they don't want gamblers to then give him some sort of class action lawsuit because, what are you talking about? When I made that bet, I didn't realize the guy was playing with a broken leg or 6 broken ribs or a broken elbow, et cetera, et cetera. So what is Ryan Clark's deal?
Now, if you wanted to be conspiratorial, couldn't you say that ESPN supports gambling, has a gambling app they were partners with, perhaps downplaying the extent of an injury might make more people gamble the way you wanted them? Like, you could do a whole bunch of allegations just based 100%. Off his stupidity. His stupidity is becoming a liability legally.
I have brought this up a dozen times. ESPN should have nothing to do with gambling. It's a complete conflict of interest. You cannot be the so-called sports leader and the people in charge simply of the news, of the sports news. That's what ESPN brands themselves. We're number one to get sports news and sports information. You cannot then have a partnership with a gambling website because then obviously you can start skewing your information and what information you reveal and what information you keep close to the vest to help out your gambling partner, your business partner, DraftKings. So ESPN's dirty. We all know this. Ryan Clark, people need to put a bigger spotlight on this guy now. I mean, we've been doing it for weeks. But it's time everyone else starts to catch up a little bit. He's bad for ESPN. He's bad for the game. He's bad for the NFL. And he's beginning to divide people in a way that's ugly, that I'm not even bringing up on the show. Yeah. And I'm not going to. But he's dividing fans because in today's political climate, everyone's got their own crazy ass thought and they think this. I just think Ryan Clark is a complete dumb, idiotic bozo. Nothing more, nothing less. He is someone who, when you lack intelligence, you just say whatever BS you can think of at the time. Well, inevitably, when you're Ryan Clark, like Dan Orlovsky and like Mina Kimes, and you're on 18 hours of ESPN a day, you're ultimately going to contradict yourself multiple times throughout the course of the week. It keeps happening to Ryan Clark, and we're sick of it. ESPN cannot get Mike Tomlin in there fast enough to replace this idiot. Ryan Clark is a mediocre secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or Mike Tomlin, 19 years of winning football and a Super Bowl championship to go with it, and a future Hall of Fame head coach. Yeah, that's the guy I'd like to listen to, and no more Ryan Clark. Please give me Mike Tomlin and get rid of Ryan Clark. Yes, Robin.
Let's enjoy that 2 months where they're both on air together, and every time Ryan makes a point, Mike goes, "Shut your dumb ass up." I taught you everything you know.
And he would probably say, wow, you're talking a lot for a guy who was just okay.
Yeah. Hey, you want me to call Peyton Manning so he can burn you 9 times again?
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, you're aware that every guy who you covered, we needed the safety to help you out. Ryan Clark is synonymous with double coverage.
Ryan,
because he can't shut anyone down by himself. So, hey, let's get the safety over here. And, yeah, I mean, don't even tell Ryan. His feelings will get hurt. He's very proud, but give him some help. Help out Ryan because he's only going to let a 40-yard bomb off of Brady or Manning's arm happen.
I wish you worked for ESPN, so when he pulled that I didn't play crap, you could challenge him to a one-on-one route, like those destroying videos, and just break his ankles.
Well, anyway, so Darnold did play great. Seahawks destroy the Niners, like I said, 41-6. They're in the NFC Championship where they will face the L.A. Rams, who beat the Bears in a thriller in overtime, 20-17. The Chicago Bears totally ruined what was. Look, I'm a Giants fan. I can only compare what Caleb Williams did to the Eli Manning, David Tyree helmet catch in the Super Bowl. I'm watching this in real time, like all the games this weekend. And in real time, I turn to Stanley Mack and I go, game's over, because he's literally running backwards with 3 or 4 Rams defenders chasing him. And I'm like, game is over. That's it. Bye. Because maybe, first of all, it looked like he's going to get sacked.
Yeah.
But second of all, he's not going to get the ball. Like, he's not getting the ball off. And if he does, it's going to be some whack-ass throw that's easily going to be batted down. This is the same thing with Eli. He actually had to escape like 2 or 3 different sacks on that play. Everyone remembers the helmet catch by David Tyree. Everyone forgets Eli was dead to rights. And somehow all these damn defensive linemen are pawing at him like they're grizzly bears. He escapes their clutch like he's DiCaprio in The Revenant. And he unleashes an absolute missile to David Tyree. Eli gets 50% of the credit there. Caleb Williams gets 100% of the credit here. Holy cow. Running backwards, being chased. It's 4th down. It's 4th down. The game is over. All you have to do is either sack him or just bat the ball down when he throws some desperation throw that's not going to go anywhere. And instead, he throws, even though the ball was from like the 15 or 20 or whatever, where he was on the field, it was like a 40, 45-yard dime going backwards off his back foot to tie the game. And then the Bears blow it in overtime after the Rams get the ball and they can't score. And by the way, Ocho Cinco, no, it wasn't. T.O., Terrell Owens, and at the time, Chris Collinsworth, who people might like him or dislike him, but he was a wide receiver, folks, for the Cincinnati Bengals for years and years. Collinsworth at the time was saying that, DJ Moore gave up on the route. And then when I looked at the replay, that's exactly what happened. Which 100%. Is why T.O. went out there and on Twitter, go check T.O. He goes, that was 100% on Moore, not on Caleb Williams. Now, I told you this. I'm going to be first with this yet again. You're going to hear it on Davey Mac Sports Program, and trust me, 6 months from now, a year from now, it might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now. Everyone else is going to be saying it. But modern day wide receivers overall suck.
You heard it here first.
There's always an exception to the rule. Justin Jefferson's phenomenal. I'd take him on my team in a heartbeat. I love that guy. Phenomenal. So there's always exceptions to the rule. But folks, let's be honest. There are more drops than we've ever seen in the NFL. We brought up the stat a couple months ago. Jerry Rice played for 21 years. He had something like 22 career drops. So once a season, between 16-game regular season and the postseason, which the 49ers were there all the time. And he would average 1 a year. You know what? You can live with that. These days, except for absolute elite guys like a Justin Jefferson, you're getting pretty much every wide receiver is good for a drop a game. A drop a game.
Wow.
Maybe 2 drops with some of these guys. A game. Not a career. I have never seen more drops in my entire life. It's a problem. Why are wide receivers getting paid so much more than running backs when I deem them equal? And quite frankly, I have more respect for a running back. Running back, yeah, he needs to have a good offensive line, but a running back is making his decisions for himself. A wide receiver's got his route planned out for him. He's got everything done for him. And then he relies on a quarterback to get him the ball. So really, how important is a wide receiver compared to a running back? If I'm a running back, I'm like, what the hell? How am I an elite running backs are getting around $15 million a year, Roy, just so you know, whereas wide receivers are getting around $30 million.
Wow. Well, that's a big discrepancy.
You cannot tell me that outside of Justin Jefferson, that the average wide receiver is worth twice as much money as the average running back. I refuse to admit this. In fact, if anything, I see running backs as more valuable. Look at what Saquon did for the Eagles last year. He won them a Super Bowl. He was the difference.
And the A.J. Brown star wide receiver cost them a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. We've never seen more drops. On top of more drops, we've never seen guys give up on routes like this. Whether it's George Pickens, whether it's DJ Moore, take your pick.
Why do you think they're all dropping the ball? Is it like, did they change the shape of the ball in the last 25 years or some shit?
Well, one theory that's mine is that because they all want to get on okay, fundamentals out the window. That's the quick answer.
Okay.
But to point to a specific thing that's occurring, a lot of them want to make the one-handed catch, the Odell Beckham catch, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because they want to go on Sports Center. They want the highlight. They want
the highlight reel.
Oh, my God, look how good they are.
Right.
So here's what they do. They fight with one hand on purpose. Legally, you're allowed to, the wide receiver has the defensive back clutched, right? And the defensive back has one hand on the wide receiver. And so then the wide receiver throws the hand up. This is nothing but a built-in excuse. They're doing these wide receivers now are intentionally fighting with one hand way too late in the route. So that they have to go, well, I had to catch it with one hand. You see, I was fighting with this hand. You don't need to fight with that hand. Or if you are fighting with that hand, by the time the ball is in the air, release and catch the damn ball with two hands. You going, oh, I had to fight with the guy with one hand. You didn't have to do it. Guys were fighting all the time back in the day. Chris Carter, Randy Moss, absolutely were fighting with one hand. But when it was time for the ball to be in the air, Randy's got his hand is off. And he's catching the football with two hands. Best receiver athletically of all time, Randy Moss. Two hands. The fundamental, that guy had fundamentals. 21st century. I know Moss played in the 21st century, but okay, we'll say since the 2010s and certainly in the 2020s. Fundamentals are out the window. And these guys are doing this one-handed fighting with the secondary as an excuse to catch one hand. And as a result, all of their fundamentals are off. But the one thing I don't accept is just not running the route either accurately or the worst, hard. Well, the quarterback, I'm option 3. See, a lot of guys know when the ball's coming their way, when they're the target. So, I'm option number 3 on this play. I'm just going to go through the motions. I'm just going to lollygag through my route and not really care. Here's the issue, dummy. If options 1 and 2 are covered by the defense, the quarterback then sees that, not open. Sees that, not open. I'm coming back to option number 3 and throwing him the football. That's what happened here. And Moore was lollygagging. Interception, game over. The Rams went down. They kicked the field goal and they win 20-17.
You don't even need to look beyond that game for an example. Puka Nacua, in this game and in the game before, had what was an easy interception that Matthew Stafford threw, that as the offensive receiver continued to run his route and then played defensive back to break up the interception. This game, it happened the game before, and he's arguably statistically the best player in the NFL this year because he sticks to those fundamentals.
He cares.
He runs his route. He catches with two hands. He blocks when he's not a part of the play.
And he plays hard.
Things.
He runs hard. He blocks hard. He runs every route hard, and he tries to catch it with two hands. Again, ball thrown behind a guy like this. You're going this way, and the ball's thrown way over here. I got obviously no issue with you turning around and trying to catch it with one hand. It's the only way you're going to get the ball.
Yeah. You know who else catches?
That's different than I'm running down the field. The ball's in the air. I've got all the time in the world to release the defender and to catch it with two hands, and I don't. That's up to you. And what's amazing is not one single NFL show is calling out this absolute garbage. It is garbage time from the wide receiver position. I'm sorry. Outside of the chosen few who I've just mentioned.
Just speaking of effort, you look at the last play of regulation, Stroud should have been sacked 4 times, throws a Hail Mary chuck. The only reason that tight end's wide open in the end zone, and I don't blame him for this, all the refs were watching him get chased down is he pushed off. He got wide open. He committed vulgar offensive pass interference, but that's just the guy who knows football, isn't giving up, and is going to play till the last possible second. If I'm the tight end, if I'm the quarterback, I'm finding this Moore guy and I'm jumping him in the locker room.
You know who else catches with one hand, David?
Who?
Rick Allen. I don't know if you're familiar with the drummer of Def Leppard.
Yes, I am, Roy. I wish you were gonna let me guess, because I was gonna say, here comes Roy's Def Leppard joke. I knew you were gonna go in that direction. That's fine. At least it wasn't a my left foot joke, where then you'd have to be catching with your feet.
Yeah.
Now, so it's going to be Rams, Seahawks, NFC Championship, Patriots, Broncos, AFC Championship with the Broncos playing a backup QB. The other big story, though, that happened out of the NFL occurred with my football team. The New York Football Giants have hired John Harbaugh, and I am pleased. I am. John Harbaugh, in 18 seasons with Baltimore, including the playoffs, has like 200 wins. This guy averages about 10 wins a year in the regular season. Also has a Super Bowl that he won with Joe Flacco. Not the worst quarterback, not Trent Dilfer bad, but certainly not Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes either. Joe Flacco. So yes, this is what is needed. $100 million for 5 years, worth every penny. And the scuttlebutt is that John Harbaugh will pretty much share in power with Joe Schoen. That Joe Schoen, who's had a horrible tenure as the Giants general manager for the past 4 seasons, he won't be able just to, not make a somewhat fair offer and let guys like Love and McKinney and, of course, Saquon get away, where they all become Pro Bowlers and all pros for other teams and become a big part of why those teams have success. I maintain that the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year because of Saquon Barkley. I mean, think of it. The Eagles were pretty much the same team that got to the Super Bowl 2 years before that, and they lost to the Chiefs. They get Saquon on the team. They kill the Chiefs. Now we're seeing Love and Leonard Williams, formerly of the Giants. Don't know why they weren't brought back to the Giants. They're on the Seahawks, and they're playing great. And if the Seahawks get to the Super Bowl, they're going to be a big reason why. So all of this stuff, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This bizarre move that these NFL general managers do, I don't know if it's to justify just having a job, but they all seem to, they're okay with letting good players go for nothing, for imaginary draft picks or for draft picks, but those are really imaginary players. Like you just don't know how that draft pick is going to turn out. Or you have a guy who's 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 6 years in the league who's done well. Here's my idea. If I was a general manager, call me crazy. Have good players on your team. Keep good players on your team. Then get more good players, and you become a good team. That seems pretty basic, don't it?
Some very logical, yeah.
That's not how Joe Schoen's operated. It's been, I'm going to let all the good players either walk. I'm going to trade them. I'm not going to give them a good offer in free agency. For what reason, Joe? We have the 12th pick this year, and there's a good defensive lineman coming out of such and such school, and blah, blah, blah. It makes no sense. But thankfully, it sounds like Harbaugh is there to be like, look, Joe Schoen can't make any of those type moves anymore. Like he has to go to Harbaugh, and Harbaugh has to sign off on it. Because Harbaugh would be like, you don't want Love or McKinney or Saquon on the team anymore? You know that they're really, 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 really good players, right? So if we keep them, Joe, and add some other good players, like we might be good eventually. Shane hasn't understood that because he's a complete analytics dork.
Relying too much on the data.
Now, tonight, Miami versus Indiana for the college football national championship. Who do you like, Roy?
Ooh, I'm a big Miami fan, David. You know me. I just
don't
like the
know
weather.
this.
I like the atmosphere. I like the music. I'm going with Miami on this one, David.
All right, Roy's going with Miami. I feel like it's more of a weather pick than football.
Yes.
He was sticking where he wanted to go on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 13-7, David. Low scoring game.
Miami.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
13-7?
Low scoring.
Wow, low scoring game. Robert.
I grew up in a household where you don't root for Miami at any cost. So I'll be pulling for Indiana, and I honestly think they have a good shot tonight. I like them 35-33.
I as well am pulling for Indiana. I don't think it will be a close game because I do believe if it's a close game, I think Miami's going to win. I think Indiana needs to just annihilate these guys, pick off Carson Beck. He always gives you an opportunity for 3 or 4 picks a game, like a CJ Stroud. A lot of times you see these college secondary guys drop the ball. Indiana's really good with a lot of upperclassmen, experienced veterans that they got through the transfer portal. This is why I'm expecting Indiana to blow them out. I'm going in Indiana 38, Miami 6.
Hell yeah.
And but if it's a close game, I fear the Canes will win. That's so I'm not pulling for a close game. I'm pulling for a domination job. Real quick, basketball. Knicks 2-8. The last 10 games. Jalen Brunson has an ankle injury. Now here's the first time we got a big red flag. When Jalen Brunson went out last year under Thibodeau, they stayed over 500. We all know how important Jalen Brunson is. He is the Knicks. They can't win long-term without him. I believe him to be the best point guard in basketball. I'm subjective. I'm a Knicks fan. But they were over 500 under Thibodeau when Jalen Brunson was not in last year. This year, they've gone completely in the toilet since the ankle injury. It's a serious problem. The Knicks are down to 3rd in the East. Sky's not falling entirely. They're 3rd. They're 3rd in the East. Celtics are above them, and the Detroit Pistons are number 1. But nevertheless, this is a year that I need the Knicks to make the NBA Finals. I need it.
How bad do you need it, buddy? Yeah, all right.
I need it bad, Roy.
I can see that.
Are you worried because people call the Knicks the Bills of the NBA?
Yeah, I'm worried.
Okay.
I'm worried because I'm starting to think that, Mike Brown absolutely knows offense more than Thibodeau. Thibodeau knows defense more than Brown. Well, if Jalen Brunson's out, I think you need a better defensive squad to keep, just to keep points off the board. Because Jalen Brunson going out, that takes away 25 to 30 points a game. And now that Mike Brown doesn't have a good defense out there, without Jalen Brunson's 25 to 30 points a game, it's a significant issue. Not that Jalen Brunson's a great defender. What I'm saying is, OG is, Bridges is, Mitchell Robinson is, but we need more defensively. As far as baseball goes, real quick, Dodgers give Kyle Tucker $60 million. As a result, Major League Baseball fans freak out across the board as the Dodgers are they're the new Yankees. They go out there, they get one awesome player after another, but $60 million for Kyle Tucker, that means he's making $18 million more than Aaron Judge. In no universe is Kyle Tucker remotely as good as Aaron Judge, Robert.
Have you looked into all the analysis that's going on here? Like, a lot of people are really worried this may destroy Major League Baseball.
Oh, a lockout's coming.
A lockout's coming.
Lockout's coming.
At the same time, the World Series this season with the Dodgers in it was the highest rating, and it continues to grow because they're playing that. Get all the stars on the team. It's growing the brand of baseball as a whole. So for the sport, it's causing more viewership. So how do they find a common ground here? None of the players are going to accept, like you said, Tucker's making $60 million. You better believe Judge's next contract or renegotiation, he's going to want more than that. So how do you find a common ground?
A hard salary cap of, we'll say right now, $325 million.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous, David. This is America, man. There's no such thing as a salary cap in America. This is, if the guy's going to make $300 million, let him earn it.
It's not about the guy. The players themselves can make as much money as possible. It's that the team would only be allowed to spend upwards. Trust me, the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to be spending Roy, the Pirates budget is like $50 million. The A's budget, payroll, is like $40 to $50 million. The point is, you can pay the guys as much money as you want, but the roster can't exceed $325 million.
Oh, I don't buy that, David. The roster
don't want that?
No, I don't want that. This is America, man. If you got the money, you got the players. That's it.
Hey,
that's how it works.
And that's fine, because here's what I'm saying. Mr. Musk, is Mr. Jobs still alive?
No, David. No. He is no longer with us.
Been a while.
Mr. Gates.
He's still around. Yeah, he's still around.
Who's the guy, Mr. Bezos?
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
both of those guys are going to be like, once they get divorced.
I don't have any opinions on either of you. I'm just saying, for you to have the New York Yankees in your portfolio would look really, really good. Okay, this is the Yankees. This is one of the according to Forbes, the most valuable baseball team on the planet Earth by a mile, but one of the two most popular, most valuable, I should say, sports franchises with the Dallas Cowboys. It's Cowboys and Yankees. And
that's true.
The bottom line is, this Hal Steinbrenner, he don't have it. He doesn't. He don't have it. He's complaining about, we don't have enough money to pay anybody, which is insane. It's insane. Every year, the Yankees get 3 to 4 million people in attendance for the year. You know how much money that is? With people spending $50 to $200 a ticket, and then another $75 in food and drink. Come on.
It doesn't even scratch the surface of how much they make of licensing that stupid New York Yankee logo that they put on caps, and that's where the money's at, my friend.
Just attendance alone, they should have plenty of money. Then we're talking about TV rights, media rights, television and radio, and of course, merch. And the Yankees hat is the most famous hat on the planet, whether it's black or red, like Fred Durst or whatever. It's the most famous, but it's the most famous hat on the planet. Come on. It's
second most famous. I think the MAGA hats, the MAGA hat would be the most common right now.
Oh, please.
More than a Yankee cap, easily. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look that up and see who made more money, the MAGA hats, Trump with his MAGA hats, or the Yankees with their New York logos.
The Yankees have been around since 1900. It's been a thing to wear the Yankee cap since the 60s. And I watched The Sandlot.
Caps don't last 60 years.
The little kid, the little nice Hebrew boy wore the baseball hat. What? I said it in a respectful way.
Yes, you did. Very respectful.
I just thought he would have been a Mets fan with that knowledge.
Okay, Robert. The point is, I love that movie. And since that movie, everyone has worn a Yankee cap at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Okay?
True. It's true.
So that's the deal with the Dodgers. They are ruining baseball. The Mets continue to want to be the Yankees because Bo Bichette wanted to go, the Blue Jays shortstop, very good young player, 25, 26, wanted to be a Yankee. So the second the Mets heard that, the Mets swooped in and paid Bo Bichette all this money. So he's going there. The Yankees and Cody Bellinger are at a standstill. The Yankees have offered Cody Bellinger 5 years for $160 million, which is $32 million a year. Nice. To me, that's more than fair. But Cody Bellinger's evil baseball agent the super heel of sports agents, Scott Boras, says $32 million a year isn't enough for Cody Bellinger. Now, again, Aaron Judge makes $40 million for the Yankees. Scott Boras wants Cody Bellinger to make more money than the Yankee cap to his teammate.
Well,
Aaron Judge, all he did was hit 50-something home runs last year. Oh, and by the way, 330. Come on, man.
You got to factor inflation. I bet you they probably pay these guys in Bitcoin. That's the only way.
Dodgers,
so the way the numbers
Dodgers
add
have
up.
figured out something which is phenomenal. Which then now I really don't know what the Yankees' problem is. Deferred payments. They're paying Kyle Tucker and Ohtani $60 million a year, but not really. They're paying him like $20 million a year, and then when those guys retire, they're going to keep paying them money with a little interest.
Yeah.
Why are the Yankees not doing this?
It's good that it worked out for the Dodgers. Wasn't it Bobby Bonilla that the Mets did it with famously, and he never really panned out?
No, because they went crazy. They're like, okay, we'll pay you 30-something million for like the next 25 to 30 years. Like he gets a million or $1.5 million a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, bless Bobby Bonilla. That's the smartest thing of all time.
Oh, yeah.
How awesome is that? Oh, yep. Every day or around opening day, I get my money.
That's great.
I think Iverson's agent did something similar, not deferred payments, but deferred paying him. So like he only got a certain amount of money for the first part of his life, and then like another amount kicks in at the later point, so he didn't burn it all.
Wow.
Must be cool having Bernie Madoff as your financial advisor.
Yeah, I mean, I think Allen Iverson needs to look into his finances because to me, it's sounding like a Don King, Mike Tyson scenario. Oh, don't worry, Mike. Here's $500,000. You're from Brooklyn. That's a lot of money. Meanwhile, Mike was bringing in like $150 million a fight in 1988. And Don King's like, oh, here's $500K. That's a lot of money, right, Mike? I guess so. I mean, I guess I could buy a tiger or two with this kind of money. All right,
well,
that's
to
it.
be fair, in his agent's defense, I guess he spent $90,000 at a TGA Fridays one time because it was the club hangout. He would just take the team to TGI Fridays and then buy strippers to come to TGI Fridays. So maybe managing his money wasn't the worst move.
That's what, by the way, that's what I used to do with Chris Pepper Stanley and Bronx Johnny when they were interns at the Ron Fez show. We would always go to PJ Riley's, which was right down the street, and drink on Fridays, and I would take care of the bill. Have they given me 1 cent or just paid for one drink? Now, I'm not going to get on Johnny's case. In fact, Johnny just texted me, and I invited him to the show. So,
nice.
Robert, yeah. I will tell you, I'm going to be scheduling the Bronx Johnny for a future episode. But for Chris Stanley, at this point, he should be buying me some cocktails. Now, I barely drink anymore.
Yeah.
So, but then, I don't know, pay for like a car payment or two. Like, pay my phone bill. I spent thousands of dollars on those guys. If I
and you never crossed over Jordan. You didn't step over Tyronn Lue. You didn't have Iverson money. You just had a good heart and looking out for your friends.
I was making $37,000 a year at SiriusXM, spending my money like I'm Daddy Warbucks over here. Anyway, all right, that'll do it. That's it. Guys, it's been real. Roy, what do you have to promote, to plug? Anything?
I got no gig. I got the week off, buddy. I got a nice, clear weekend, and I'm going to enjoy myself this week. I got nothing big going on, so taking it easy. Nothing to plug on my behalf.
All right. I'd like to hear it. Robert?
February 6th, I will be at the Laughing Stock Comedy Club in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I am headlining that show. It's Bobby Tamburo and friends. If you don't think I'm funny, don't worry. My friends are funnier than I am, so come on out and please buy tickets so I don't have to kill myself.
All right, folks, you heard him there first. Tales from Satellite, new episode was on Patreon this past week. Go check that out. Modern Day Man with myself and Aaron Berg. Phenomenal. Go check that out. Make sure you're always subscribed to the YouTube page at Eastside Dave TV and look at all the fun stuff there. We got playlists and all kinds of great shows. And, of course, continue to support this Davey Mac Sports Program and spread the word. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. And tell all your friends and neighbors and maybe even your enemies, hey, you should watch this show. It's phenomenal. As for Roy Harder, Bobby Timborough, Eastside Dave McDonald, good night, everybody.